Hello, everybody.
Hi.
This is a pleasure. Professor Brown is my cousin's wife, so that's kind of how I got to come in here and talk to you guys. My name is Don Shetterly. I'm a licensed massage therapist, author, music composer, overall creative person, and wear many hats. But those are the main ones. My main website is somatization.com, and there's a handout. I'm sure you can't read all of it right now in the dark, but it goes through a lot of this stuff, and I'll be putting more up on my website after this is over. Oops.
It's working. Okay, thanks.
So just go back to the one.
Okay, we'll go back to the last
Number
one.
2.
There we go.
So here's some of the things we're going to cover, just my journey towards relaxation. It's been a long one. It's been difficult at times, but at one time I had no idea how to relax, didn't even know what it was about. We're going to talk a little bit about mind, body, and stress, because that's where a lot of the stress relief comes in. What can we do about stress, ways to relax, and relaxation exercises. So we'll actually do a few things that you'll walk out of here hopefully feeling a little bit more relaxed. Excuse me 1 minute. Back in 1991, I went on a cruise. At the time, I thought, well, that's how you relax. You go on a cruise, they're for vacations, and maybe once or twice a year you go on a vacation, and if you're lucky. And that's what I thought relaxation was all about. Most of the time, I didn't have time for it because I was working 12 to 15 hours a day and almost 6 days a week in a job. So, I'd get maybe to a Friday evening or something, and I'd go out with my friends and chill out a little bit, and, I felt, okay, that's all I needed to do. Didn't really think I was that stressed, and I didn't really know how to relax. This is what happened to me. I had a conversion disorder back in 1991, which it's a rare condition. You may or may not have heard about conversion disorder, but it's very rare, and it's even rarer for people to come out of it. The symptoms will subside after a few weeks, but to fully heal is a whole other thing. Fortunately, now I'm up walking around. I don't have any more issues with being paralyzed, but it started out with partial paralysis and went to the point where I couldn't even move. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move my hands. I couldn't eat, take care of myself. Most of the time during that, I was so lethargic. I was sleeping all the day. I had pseudo-type seizures, which if you've ever seen somebody with epilepsy, that's what that was. They diagnosed me with MS initially, and the doctors were trying, but they just didn't have enough information, didn't have enough understanding at the time what conversion disorder was all about. I went through anxiety attacks. I went through memory loss. And it was severe memory loss. It was to the point where I couldn't even remember my name. I couldn't remember pretty much where I was or where I lived. Communication was almost non-existent. I mean, I could get one word out every 10 minutes. And I could, the biggest thing, I could not feel. But in conversion disorder, it's like if you take a power strip and you keep adding appliances after appliances after appliances, or stress, trauma, stress, onto that power strip, pretty soon it just trips the breaker. Conversion disorder is pretty much like that. You keep adding all the stuff in your life, and I've been through quite a bit in my life leading up to this point. And it just gets to the point where your body says, that's it, I can't take any more stress, I'm gone. Fortunately, I started finding ways to heal and to move forward, because part of the problem was no doctor really understood what to do to help me move forward. I kind of had to find it on my way. One of the things that I did was I went to got involved with Voices in Action, which stands for Voices of Incest Can't Emerge Survivors. The organization is no longer in existence, but it helped me start to deal with some of the things I've dealt with, meet other people, and start to move through some of those moments that were very difficult. I decided to go back to school, like many of you are, and I went to Educating Hands School of Massage. At the time, I couldn't hardly take touch. I mean, I was scared to touch. I would almost feel nauseated from touch. And so for me to go to massage school was quite a feat. But it taught me how to get in touch with my body, how to connect with that part of myself, and start to relieve the stress. Fortunately, in massage school, we did a lot of massage work on each other, and it helped with all the stress of doing that and going to work full time. It was quite challenging, to say the least, and many of you probably know that as well. Fortunately, I ran into Dr. Paul Canale of Evolutionary Healing, and over the last 20 to 25 years, he's developed a way to go in and really release trauma and stress from the body, because if you don't, it builds up, and not everybody's going to go to the point of being in a conversion disorder, but it affects us in so many physical ways. And so he really helped bring me through those points. I mean, I used to have migraine headaches and stomach ulcer, and I mean, you name it, I had it. And now those things are long gone, and they were just a direct result of the intense work I did with him. So somatization, maybe you've heard this word, maybe it's new, but it's getting to be the new concept as far as healing stress, dealing with stress, and healing the mind and body. Somatization is really conversions of stressors or trauma into physical symptoms in the body. So stress and trauma, if you have repetitive stress, it's the same thing as trauma, but that's probably not interesting. I'm just getting blinded. But you convert those stressors into physical symptoms, and in a moment we'll kind of talk about what that is. Everyone somaticizes. I don't care who you are, everyone somaticizes. Even the monks, even the greatest healers out there in the world, everybody does it. Conversion disorder, which is what I went through, is an extreme case of somatization. I had the severe form of it. And what I hope is that nobody goes through that part, because it's not fun and it's a long journey out of it. So, somatization, what is it? I don't know if you recognize any of these. What about you make decisions with your gut? I mean, I always said that. My back is killing me. Again, notice my back. Pain in the neck, a situation, a person, something going on in life. It's like, oh, I got a pain in my neck. There's a correlation, there's a connection there. Sometimes feet pain can be where, like, you're not sure where to go, what to do, how to get there. It's not conclusive that just because you have feet pain, that's what this is, but it can often be the same thing. Shoulder and arm pain, it's kind of like I'm frustrated in life, I'm fed up, I can't, and if you kind of notice, I'm using my arms and shoulders, that's where a lot of the stress can go. And you probably all, I would guess at one time have had neck pain or a stiff neck, or woke up feeling, oh, I can't move. Oh, neck tension's another one. I struggle with that still to this day, because I'll get stressed out and first thing that goes right to my neck. Does anybody else, back up one second. Does anybody else think of anything that you deal with? Or you hold stress, or, yeah, go ahead.
I'm the same with you. I got the shoulders and the arms, and now it's recently moved into my jaws.
Yep. Yeah, because the jaw is all connected down through the back, the neck, all these muscles.
Will the stress move into your legs and knees?
Yep. Very little. Yeah, it definitely will. Okay, grab. If you want to play the ocean sound.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it affects us more than we realize. And you just go to the next slide. So, I know it's kind of dark, but if everybody can just kind of stand up for a second, we're just going to do a simple little exercise here. Don't worry, no jumping jacks. So. Going, Jeff?
Freaking out, man.
Is that going, Jeff?
Yeah, it's going. Just soft, but it's going. I got it cranked now, all the way.
Okay. It may get too loud in a second, but
Yeah.
okay, so I want everybody just to kind of close your eyes for a moment and just kind of find your footing on the ground and just let your arms kind of hang down off of your shoulders. And just start to kind of feel your breath for a moment. Just notice it. And if you can't feel it, if you're not sure what you're feeling, just kind of just stay with it. Whatever works for you is perfect in this moment. And just let your arms hang to the side. And now on your right hand, I just want you to kind of take and notice how your right hand just hangs off of your arm and your shoulder. And I just want you to kind of like you're almost weighing that little finger on your right hand. It's like you're trying to ask, what is the weight of it? I know that's an unusual question, but it helps take us to where we need to go. And you might pick up some sensations, you might pick up warmth or cold, or who knows, it'll be different for each one of us. And so as you just let that pinky finger, that little finger just kind of sit there and just weigh it, kind of go to the ring finger now. And just weigh that ring finger, just feel what it feels like. And then go to the middle finger and kind of do the same thing. And from my vantage point, I'm already seeing some effects. So, and now go to the index finger and just weigh that index finger. Just feel that finger. What does it feel like? Is there any sensations? Cold, hot, tingling? Maybe it's hard to feel it. All that's perfectly normal. And now go to your thumb and just kind of weigh that thumb. Just feel that thumb. And now take that feeling and just feel what your hand feels like at the end of your arm. And then feel your forearm. What does it feel like? What's the weight of it? And then move up to your upper arm. Same thing, just kind of feel it weighing and hanging off of your shoulder. And now take all that feeling and just feel all of it. And right now, as I look around the room, I see everybody looks like they're a little bit leaning to the right, which is very typical and normal. So we're going to take, because I don't want you walking out of here, falling over. So we'll take everything that we just felt in the right hand, and we're going to bring it all the way up. Just use your imagination to bring it all the way up through your forearm, your upper arm, your shoulder, and take it to the other side, to the left one. So we're going to do that one more time. So take everything from your right hand and right fingers up through your forearm, up through your upper arm, to the shoulder, and all across to the left hand, your left shoulder, and all the way down to your left hand. And yep, that did the trick. I can see there's a little bit more balance now, so you're not going to be walking around, tilted to the side. And just take a moment and just kind of sense in your body what that felt like. And connect with your breath again. And when you're ready, just kind of open your eyes. And how did that feel? Just feel free to kind of share.
I almost voided.
But just that, you can go ahead and sit down if you want again. But that was a simple 5-minute. That was a simple 5-minute exercise, and yet, it has profound impacts on us because we actually stopped, we sensed, and we felt. And that's really the true little secret to getting rid of a lot of stress. You can do this anywhere you're at. Nobody's going to really know you're doing anything. I've done it in the hospital with, a nurse came in and she was like, oh, I'm so stressed, I'm tense, and I was with a friend of mine. so I went through that and quick little things. She's like, ah, it feels much better. So, you know, those little simple things can help. Lost my music, but that's fine. So we'll just go to the next slide. Dr. John Sarno has written a couple of different books. Back several years ago, he was interviewed, I think it was on 2020 with John Stossel, and he was getting people coming in with all kinds of back pain and issues and real physical conditions that they could look in x-rays and say, well, you have a herniated disc, you have this problem, you have that problem. And they were like, so far nothing's working. And so before they would have surgery, he would take them into a room, he would talk to them about what was going on in their life. And he would go through, you know, different emotions, different problems, situations. Just by starting to do that and starting to connect, that there might be a connection between what they were going through and what they're in right now, they found that a lot of these people started to physically heal. And John Stossel, he was kind of like, this sounds really strange. But in patient after patient after patient, they found it to be true. Again, it's that mind-body, you know, connection. But in one of his books, The Divided Mind, he says everyone is under pressure or stress of some kind or another. And we all have both internal and external reactions to these pressures, and then physical symptoms manifest in response to these feelings. So, you know, we all have stress, we all have pressure, and it affects us both externally and internally. I mean, it's through, you know, like I was saying, back pain, neck pain, tension, leg pain. You know, there's different things that it will show up as, different health conditions. I even had points where I had a severe rash, and a lot of it was because of what I was going through at that time. I've learned now how to avoid those moments. And he goes on in his book, The Mind-Body Prescription, physical symptoms are a defense mechanism of the brain. When the brain says, hey, you know, there's too much going on, you know, I can't deal with this, it goes right to different parts of your body. And each person, that's going to be a little bit different. But when you start feeling pain in your body, that's when the stress is going to that area, or there's something going on. Next. And like he said, the brain is diverting attention to the body in order to avoid the awareness of or confrontation with certain unconscious or repressed frightening or threatening feelings, especially anger or rage. Anger and rage are two of the high-end emotions that can just drive you right into things. And the more we hold in, the more that builds up in the body. And it's not always easy to go in and connect with those things. I mean, I've felt that personally, but it is the way to get into the body and release it. And once you do, man, life is so much different. Dr. Paul Canale, which I was talking about a little bit earlier, he's one of the people that's really changed my life. But he says as much as 80 to 90% of all primary care physician visits are related to stress. A lot of doctors realize that stress plays a role in the body. I went to doctors, you know, way back when I had an ulcer in high school. I had the neck and back problems so bad, and they would say, well, you need to relax. I'm like, well, how do I do that? And nobody could tell me. That was something I had to find for myself. But each doctor knew that stress was playing a role in what I was going through. I just had no way to figure out how to get out of it. Dr. Canale goes on to say trauma, repetitive stress, which repetitive stress can equal the same thing as trauma. I mean, everybody will say, well, I haven't been through trauma, I haven't been through, but repetitive stress is at that same level. It builds up over time, and you may get by without confronting it in your life, but at some point it's going to catch up and say, here I am, deal with me, like it did to me. You know. So trauma, repetitive stress without release changes our biology, our chemistry, our bodies, our minds, brains, and nervous system. It has an impact on all those things. When human beings are exposed to high levels of stress, injury, or painful experience, their brains disconnect from an inner feeling or felt sense of the body. That's what we did a minute ago when we did just stop to sense and feel. We connected back with that felt sense. And if you can work on connecting with that felt sense, just stopping and feeling, you'll do much better for your body. You'll heal yourself, you'll be much more relaxed, more peaceful. But sometimes it's kind of difficult to get there, and sometimes you do need a little bit of help from somebody to help you get to that point. So he also says that trauma or stress, again remember repetitive stress, can be anything that hurts us, such as mistreatment from others, accidents, natural disasters, physical and emotional abuse, and accumulated stress. There's probably not a person in this room that hasn't experienced something in that way. There's some of us in the society or in the world that are called highly sensitive people. I'm one of those. So if I see a natural disaster, or I see people that I know involved in it, even though I didn't go through it, I'll feel what they feel. And at times it can get overwhelming. But even like mistreatment from others, I mean, we see cases of bullying and you know, shootings in schools, or just, you know, how people treat one another, accidents, natural disasters, you know, physical and emotional abuse, sexual abuse, which is what I went through. It has an effect on a person long after it is stopped. Dr. Canale says, stress and trauma, it's a source of chronic pain, disease, suffering, fear, and anxiety. It is the main reason why people don't heal from any condition. When I first heard him talk about this, I thought, I can't be. But I've come to learn over the years working with him that this is the case, that it is the source of so much in our bodies and our lives. Understanding how it affects each and every one of us is the most important secret that any human being can learn. Even though we've been through all types of things in our past. I mean, I went through, you know, stuff that would make people cringe in here. But using that to transform myself, now I can help and transform others' lives. And that's the thing, is once we realize that how to deal with it, how to work with it, man, that's a secret that, you know, you can take anywhere. Dr. Joe Dispenza, you might have seen him if you ever watched the movie What the Bleep Do We Know? I think he might have been in The Secret. I don't remember for sure on that. But he wrote a book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, and I love this book because it explains this in such simple detail. He says, on the other hand, when the brain is stressed, its electrical activity will be like an entire orchestra of musical instruments playing badly. And I'm sure we all have heard, you know, instruments out of tune, people singing out of tune. But the mind will be out of rhythm, out of balance, and out of tune. That says so much. This is a book I wrote. I still haven't written about all the experiences I've been through in life, but I wanted to write a book that talked about the hope and possibility through trauma. So this book it starts out with my story, some of my story, and then it goes into some of the writings and different things that I did to start healing myself. It's available up on Amazon, different places. I've got, I think, one copy with me today. But in my book, there's, I don't remember which page, I said, the more you clear out, the more you give your life, your mind, and your physical body room for greater awareness, peace, and a capacity to deal with the stresses of life. It's kind of like if you have a closet and you chuck things in that closet, it's so full, we do it to our bodies, we keep just adding on to our bodies, adding on, adding on. But if you go and you try and add more, and pretty soon that closet is so full, there's nothing else you can get in there. Same thing, if you go into that closet and you clean out the closet and you start to organize it, all of a sudden now you have room for more things that you really want in the closet, things that are important, like the peace, the capacity to deal with the stress. Our body's the same way. The more we get rid of in our body of all this stuff we don't want, the more room we have for the things we do. So if you're stressed and feeling bombarded, it is time to take a moment and do a reset in life. Don't wait till you get to the point like I did with a conversion disorder, because I knew that was coming. I told a friend of mine just a few weeks before that I knew my life was shutting down, and yet I didn't know how to stop that whole train wreck. So don't keep trudging through everything because you think you have to. If you stop and rest a little, you'll fuel your body back up to take on everything coming at you. When I was in massage school, I was working full time and going to massage school at night, so I was worn out. And I would take time out, like once a week, to go do yoga. I'd take some time out to do other things, and I thought, oh, I could better use that to study or to catch up. But I found that if I took that time out of my week, that I could get much more done. If I kept pushing myself, it was like my brain just said, that's it, I can't study, I can't learn, I can't comprehend. So what can we do? Well, stop, sense, and feel. That's what we did a few minutes ago in that little exercise. If you can just stop, sense, and feel, it'll start to change life in a way that you would never imagine. We need to connect with our body and our mind. We live in a society that we're all over the place. We've got, this thing to get to, that task to get done. It might be this thing to study for, kids to take care of, all kinds of things. But we need to connect with our body and our mind. We need to learn to sense and feel in our body, just like we were doing with that exercise. And this third point was one that I really struggled with, and I still struggle with, is go into the trouble areas instead of avoiding them. So don't avoid them, go into them, learn to release and let go. But you also want to spend time daily and weekly learning to relax. It isn't something, like I said, you do once or twice a year on a vacation. It needs to almost become a daily or weekly thing. Massage and other body work methods, there's all kinds of things out there that you can do that will help. And they really do help the body release and move forward. Even though you may be kind of independent and I don't always like to ask for people for help, sometimes I have to learn as well. We can't do it all on our own. And it's very true. Sometimes we need the help of that other person to take us through that. Here's some different ways to relax. And on the handout that I gave everybody, there's a whole page full of all kinds of different ideas. So here's just a few. Walking, exercises, sports. I mean, anytime you do any of these things, it helps release the endorphins. Endorphins make us feel better. And it helps get the stress and the toxins out of our body as well. Sometimes if you like reading, you can read a nice fictional book or something and just get lost in it and just kind of say whatever to all the stress. Gardening for me is a way I love to garden. I love to be connected to the plants and all that. Singing and dancing. If you're like me, I don't like to sing and dance around people too much, but when I'm home by myself, I'll shut the curtains, I'll kick the music up, and I'll just have fun. My cats are the only ones that see it. So, take mini breaks in a day. That can be anything from walking outside for a few moments, just feeling the sun, just kind of stopping, noticing your breath. Sometimes just those few moments can make a whole difference in a day. Body work again. Things like yoga, tai chi, qigong, those are all good things to get you to stop and sense and feel. Pets are a good thing. I mean, at least my two cats, they run all over and they would constantly want to play. So and I think there's been plenty of studies that prove that having pets can help lower blood pressure and just help overall health. Laughing is another thing. If you ever notice when you laugh, it changes the whole physiology and energy of your body. And so if you're really down and out, go to a comedy club or find something, just laugh. There was a video of a baby laughing or something at one time. Anything like that, just to change things. Breath work is good. Relaxation music is another one. I've created a lot of relaxation music, and I think somebody's saying it sounded like doctor or elevator music, and it's designed to just kind of let you chill out. And remember, there's no right and wrong ways. What works for you may not work for others. I had somebody come along and say, well, what you're doing, that's not right. You should do it this way. And I said, but that doesn't work. What I do works for me. The biggest thing is find something that works for you and just do it. If it doesn't work for you, you're not going to do it. If you find something that you go, wow, this really impacts and makes a difference in my life, you're going to be doing that. And work on the health of your nervous system. Give yourself more capacity to endure stress. Because the more, again, that we clear out of the closets of our life, the more capacity we have. If that rubber band in life is stretched so far, and you do one little twing on it, it's there's not much room for it to go. But if you give a little bit more flexibility in there, then things come along in life, and it's like, oh, I can deal with that, and it's not as big of an issue. And don't run from stress. Confront it and own it. And that's been one of the hardest things I've had to learn, because there's too many things I want to say. That's it. I'm gone. And I've had to learn that I have to confront it and own it. Okay, so this, Jeff, I want to get the, hopefully that works this time. If not,
Let's hope so.
if not, it won't. It's not. I can't see the clock, so I have no idea what time it is.
One of this stuff. Seriously. They didn't make hard work. You didn't do anything for it.
Well, I just started bike riding. Like it was before that.
I want like a turkey sub or meatball sub or something.
Well, you were nice.
You may not be able to hear that too well, but that's fine. It's just kind of background noise, or background music, I should say, not background noise. This is from my Ocean Waves CD, which I went out to Cape Canaveral National Seashore and sat there for over an hour recording this. So it's continuous, and I actually listen to this all night long. I love that. Yeah, that's what I do at night.
But don't try to sleep with frogs. It doesn't work.
I actually put this on the computer. It's nice.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, so I'm just going to go through a little guided meditation, do some breathing stuff. So just kind of want everybody to kind of sit there and just close your eyes for a moment. And just kind of, let your arms, sit on your lap or whatever's comfortable. And I just want you to start focusing on your breath. Just notice your breath. Just notice the breath. Is it deep or shallow? Is it fast or slow? Is it hard to notice it? For some, it may be a little bit difficult to notice. I just want you to keep focusing on that breath. You might even take your hands and place over your chest and heart and just kind of feel that breath. It'll help connect you to it. And as you just sense that breath, just keep feeling it. I want you to take a deep breath in all the way from your toes, all the way to the top of your head, and then just kind of let it go. And take another deep breath in, as deep as you can get, up all the way to the top of your head, and then just let it out. Okay, one more deep breath in, all the way from the toes, all the way up to the top of your head. Breathe, 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 and then just let it out. Just keep feeling and sensing your breath. We're going to just take an imaginary walk. For some, you'll walk different places than others, and whatever works, whatever comes out in this moment is fine for you. Each person, it's going to be different. But through your imagination, just consider that you're walking down this path. It may be next to the ocean, it might be in a forest, it could be in your backyard, it could be in a park, wherever it needs to be for you, that's where you need to be. And as you're walking, just feel the sensations around you. Is the breeze blowing? Is the wind blowing? Is the sun out? Is it rainy? Is it dry? Notice whatever sounds are around you. Maybe there's some birds flying. Might be some squirrels. Might be some wind whistling through leaves or wherever. And just focus on all that's around you right now. Notice if the ground is hard or solid. Is it a dirt path, a concrete path? Maybe it's sand. It might be hilly, it might be flat. Just keep taking your imagination to that point. And as you walk through that path, I want you to start thinking about something that you really need for your life right in this moment. Something that you can give your body right now. Just keep focusing on the breathing, focus on walking, and think about what you can give yourself right now in this moment. And as you walk, you'll notice a box up ahead. The box may be wooden, it might be built out of some other material, it could be concrete, it could be, who knows, it could be a paper box. It may be decorated in certain ways, it may be just, a plain old box. But just notice that box ahead. And as you get to that box, notice that there's a lid on there that you can open. And as you open that lid, you notice that there's something down inside that box. Something that's inviting you in. Something that wants your attention. And so as you focus on it, reach down and scoop that up out of the box. And take a look at it. And when you look at it, you notice that what it is for your life right in this moment, that's what you're holding in your hands. And be grateful for it and just feel what that feels like. Feel what that feels like all the way through your body. And you might even hold that object close to your heart because you're just grateful that it showed up to you right now and that it's exactly what you need for your life in this moment. And just feel what that feels like in your body. It will all be different for each one of us. Some of us may feel and sense it more than others. That's fine. Whatever you can pick up and sense, that's what matters. And so now, I just want you to take that, what you picked up out of that box, and I want you to carry it back with you as you walk back down the path. Grateful and joyful that you're holding this precious thing right now in your arms. And keep walking back. And you walk back to this room. And you walk back to your chair. And just be there for a moment. Just be right there in your chair with whatever it is that you need for your life. And take a deep breath in. And then let it out. And now take even a deeper breath in. And then let it out. And this last time, when we take the breath in, we're going to hold it as long as we can, and then just release it. So take a deep breath in, and hold it, and then just let it go. And whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. I don't know if you can feel it. I can feel kind of like a little bit more peacefulness in the room. It just feels lighter. What was everybody's experience? with that?
Huh?
What was that like?
It was enjoyable.
Calm.
Anybody else have any?
Probably got one a wrap.
What was that?
Wrap,
Oh, yeah.
and it's relaxing.
She was.
I was floating in the water.
You were at the beach.
I was at the beach for real.
It's a simple thing that we can do, and when I was in massage school, we had one instructor that would love to do those kind of things with us, and we all would beg her every day. It's like, please do this, please do this. But you know, it's just a simple thing that you can travel to this imaginary place and connect with yourself. Again, it's that stop, sense, and feel. Well, my journey is taken on a different road, and you know, fortunately, I didn't stay stuck back in the conversion disorder like so many do. I mean, I feel for the people that haven't found their way through that, because it's a horrible place to be. Back in November 2010, I had the opportunity to be on Oprah with 200 other male survivors. It was one of the most powerful moments I've ever had in life, and very emotional. Tyler Perry was there, and some of the stories I heard, they just, you know, I still get emotional thinking about it. But it gave me a chance to start talking about my story, talking about it to people that I didn't know. Because I also got interviewed by Orlando paper and the Daytona paper, and here I'm sharing a story with people that, you know, I didn't know, they were strangers. And it was the first time I really had done that. I always shared it with people that I felt safe around. So it was kind of the beginning for me to really go, now it's time to take this and start helping others. In February 2012, the Dr. Drew show called up, and they were doing a story on Leroy, New York with conversion disorder, and they wanted somebody that had been through it but had come out of it to kind of talk. I've usually shy away from those type of things because I get scared and I get nervous, but I came down to Orlando. They did a remote thing, a remote interview, and it was such a phenomenal experience that I'm glad I didn't chicken out. I'm glad I did that. But since that time, I met 2 people now, face to face, that have been through conversion disorder, and they're trying to heal. And it has literally just changed how I saw what I went through. I've learned so much by being with them. So those experiences have helped me really find my purpose now in life. The last thing I want to kind of leave you with is, here's some of the things I do. I try and find and spend time in relaxing places, whether it's a park. I love to go to the ocean and sit at the beach if it's just for 30 minutes. I have a pool. I sit out by the pool. I mean, I try and find those places that just I can go relax in, and that's where I go. This was actually taken up in North Carolina in the mountains. If I get a chance, I love to go to the mountains. They're just one of the most, outside the ocean is one of my favorite places. And again, I relax to the sound of ocean waves, like that CD. I play it all night long because I wake up feeling more refreshed. I sleep better, especially if I'm traveling. I play it in a hotel room. It just drowns out all those little noises and all the other stuff. And so those are 2 of the main things I do. I also get up in the morning and I spend probably 20 to 30 minutes just by myself, kind of centering and focusing my day. And when I do that, I get so much more done. I'm so much more efficient. So if you go up to somatisync.com, which is, it's all on that handout, I'm going to put the slideshow for the presentation. Hopefully my recording will work, and I'll put that up there. There's links to books, my music, other info. Dr. Canale I did an interview with him on conversion disorder. It's up on there. There should be a list we may have to do at the end, but if you want to know of what's going on, and I'm trying to do more workshops, more like, you know, half-day or full-day workshops. You can sign up for the email list, and most of all, you can always email me. My email address is on that handout. I try and, you know, work with anybody I can. I do see private clients, but I also am there to help answer questions. You know, and I have many people email me in a day, and I try to be there for them. Somatisync is a word I came up with, but it's kind of at essence what I'm trying to do is working with people to allow the mind and body to consciously sync with awareness as we re-regulate the nervous system and rewire the brain. And that's the key to life. If we can figure out how to do that, we've got life down. And of course, this is just this is my book and some of the CDs that I've created, but and all those are available up on Amazon, iTunes, all those major places. So I thank you for your attention, and
Mike?